Good Tuesday morning, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go in and talk about the weather for your Tuesday. Starting off, what is going on right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina? Well, we are seeing some nice dry conditions statewide. No matter where you are, everybody is looking good. Now, if we go in and take a look at what's going on throughout the entire U.S. weather-wise, well, it looks like we do have some flash flooding going on over here inside of Pennsylvania. New York seeing some heavy rainfall, seeing some more flash flooding potentially in and some more severe storms in Virginia, some storms in Tennessee. Then as we move over towards the west, we have some shower activity in Montana, Washington, and also down in Arizona. Now, in terms of our cloud cover, it looks like that for the majority of us, we're actually not that bad. Really just the upstate and parts of the Midlands, maybe even the Petey and the Grand Strand areas, but down like the low country, things still look a little bit hazy, not too clear either. So overall, it's kind of, I mean, you see cloud cover in a lot of spots, but a lot of spots is also really not so dense in either. So it's kind of like a half and half thing almost. Now, in terms of cloud cover into the future, I mean, we're talking about cloud cover kind of building as we go more into this afternoon, but as we go into the evening, things try to calm down a little bit. This is 5 o'clock p.m. Cloud cover, still present, but it's not really the worst. You move into later on tonight into like the evening, going over into the overnight hours. And again, we're still seeing some cloud cover activity build from upstate to low country to coastal areas. So, it's still going to stay pretty active in terms of cloud cover. Now, current temperatures right now, we're talking about 87 in Somerville, Charleston, 85, Georgetown, 83, Myrtle Beach. Same thing in 84 in Conway, 86 in Sumter, 87 in Columbia, 85, Newburgh, and 83 in Greenville, 84, Spartanburg in Gaffney, 83, York, and Clemson. Now, in terms of our air quality, we're talking about moderate for a good amount of us. You see inside the good category, we have areas like in eastern Charleston County, Georgetown County, Horry County. Those areas are in the good. Everybody else, moderate. What does that mean? If you're in the yellow, that means that you have, not too good air quality, but also not too bad. Just make sure that you're paying attention today. High temperatures for today, we're talking about 96 in Greenville, 95, Spartanburg, even 97 in Columbia, 97 in Orangeburg and Moncks Corner, 93, Charleston, 94 in Georgetown, 90, Myrtle Beach, and 95 in Hilton Head Island, 95 in Dillon, and 96 in Florence, Camden, and 97 over there in Columbia. Now, for your heat index for today, it's going to be hot. No matter where you are, everybody's going to be 100 plus today. And especially if down there in the low country, the coastal low country like Hilton Head Island, 112, 109 in Charleston, it's going to be hot today, no matter where you are. It's going to be hot. Winds for today may try to help you out a little bit. Obviously with some storm activity kind of moving through, that could, some of these sustained winds could try and move up a little bit, around 10 to 15 miles per hour for a good amount of us. And then for the wind gust, potentially up to around 25 miles per hour at a maximum. Now, if we go in and take a look at rainfall, hundredth of an inch to a tenth of an inch over near Anderson, Spartanburg, Newberry, Columbia, even near Walterboro and Charleston. Tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch over there in Sumter, going on in Kingstree. And then also over near Cheraw and Dillon, Rock Hill. Quarter of an inch to a half an inch for areas like Florence, going over to Myrtle Beach, going to Georgetown. And then maybe somebody could even get a half an inch to an inch. It's possible. Definitely is possible. Now for the SPC outlook for today, slight risk of severe weather up there inside of the upstate, the Midlands, and the PD/Grand Strand areas. I mean, overall, it doesn't really look all too bad for areas like down there in the southern parts, where there's not too much going on. But once you get more towards the north, more towards the upstate, the PD areas, things start to get a little bit more intense. And then the dark green area in the middle, that's the marginal risk of severe weather. That's a level 1 out of 5. The slight risk is a level 2 out of 5. And then the light green, that's just a regular thunderstorm risk down there. So what does this all mean? Well, if you're in the green, or I should honestly start off with the yellow, there's a couple of things you have to watch for here. And so damaging winds is the main aspect here. And here's why. Well, you can see right here on your screen, if you're inside of the red, Spartanburg, Rock Hill, Northern Florence, you have a 30% chance of damaging wind activity happening at your house, at your office, at wherever in the world you are in that red area. You have a 30%. If you're in the yellow, you have a 15% risk of that happening. That's Greenville, Columbia, mainly central and southern portions of Florence, Myrtle Beach, going on to Georgetown, going down to Orangeburg, Greenwood, those areas, 15% risk of damaging winds exceeding or getting close to that 60-mile-per-hour mark. And then if you're in the brown, that's a 5%. That's most of the Tri-County area for Charleston, Berkeley, and Dorchester County, going into Walterboro, Allendale, those areas have a 5% risk. 5% of damaging winds occurring. So that's the risk of damaging winds for today. Tornadoes is the next threat to watch for because, yes, we do have a risk of tornadoes. You see up there near Rock Hill, that's a 5% risk of tornadoes. If you're in the dark green, that's a 2% risk of tornadoes. So I know not a lot, but some storms that move into the state could be rotating and could cause some potential impacts there. And then finally, hail. Hail-wise, we are looking like that's like our least threat there. But, 5% that expands all the way through the upstate down to the Midlands. So we could see some isolated damaging hail of up to an inch in diameter going throughout some of these areas over here inside the northern parts of the state. And so this is what we're looking at here in terms of the main overall threat once again. Now, in terms of fire weather, nothing for today. Excessive rainfall. We do have a risk for some isolated flash flooding up here inside of the northern parts of the state. That's like over here near Rocky Bottom. That's over near Mountain Rest. I mean, we can see that we do have an isolated flash flood risk over here inside of the upstate. Now, not a lot, and, I wouldn't even be shocked if we barely saw any flooding at all throughout the entire state. But again, this is summer, so anything can really happen. And we're going to go over that in the models in just a moment. But in terms of the crazy score, currently we're at an 18. Why? Well, a bunch of alerts. We have the heat advisory going on. We have a beach hazard statement going on over there for coastal Georgetown and Horry counties. And then also the conditions push it up as well. So we're in that mild category right now, but nothing too concerning right now. Nothing too concerning. So let's go on now and take a look at the model. So we're going to start off here at 11 o'clock in the morning. And just as we push this forward all the way to 12 p.m., all the way over into 1 p.m., we can see that we do have some shower activity going on throughout the upstate. We have some more shower activity going on throughout the Petey areas, but it's like very, very light and, barely anything, like at all. You move forward into around 3 p.m., 4 p.m., you see some more shower activity going on, some more downpour activity potentially going on over there in the low country areas. But again, it's not a lot. You move all the way to around 8 p.m., 9, all the way to 10 p.m., and then finally, there goes our risk of severe weather. We wait all day for it, and then finally 8, 9 p.m. comes along, and there it goes, starts to move its way down south into the state, and starts to produce that damaging wind threat, the tornado threat, and the hail threat all throughout these areas. Now, the upstate kind of, goes to around like 12 a.m., then kind of moves out. But if you look towards the eastern part of the state, PD areas, the low country, Grand Strand, the Midlands, look how much more rainfall we're starting to see over in these areas that could potentially cause some damaging winds to move through. I mean, this is 3 o'clock in the morning we're talking about here, and we're still talking about maybe a severe threat moving throughout some of these areas. So, you could get woken up tonight by a storm. You could get woken up by a severe thunderstorm warning or a special weather statement or whatever type of alert that you may get later on tonight. Rather if you get alerts for that or not, whether if it does wake you up or not. But the main thing is that, that stuff could be happening tonight. So you got to make sure that you have a way to go in and get those alerts just in case. Because, if we do get a severe thunderstorm warning and it's a pretty bad one, you want to be awake for that. You don't want to be, not woken up and then not prepared for it. So make sure today that all of those plans are in place just in case a severe storm does go through, does, turn off power, does cause power lines to fall, trees to fall. Make sure that you have your way of being prepared just in case in any situation if that does happen. Now, in terms of how much rainfall we're receiving, I mean, overall, over the next 18 hours, I mean, some areas, may not see much rainfall at all. Look over here in the western upstate, or just the upstate, really just in general. I mean, you're not seeing much over here in this area, even though there's a slight risk of severe weather. But watch how many areas over here can get potentially 1 to 2 inches of rainfall over here in the eastern parts of the state. So, this is 3 o'clock in the morning. So, a lot of areas could see some. But again, I'm not really seeing anything in terms of full-on, just in terms of like full-on flash flood potential. I mean, I see a couple of spots maybe could get up to around an inch or so in an hour. That's, a pretty good amount. But after that, That's about it. And I don't really see too much else in terms of flash flooding potential here. So I'm not really too sold on it. And so now that that's out of the way, nothing in terms of the tropics. No earthquakes should have happened last night. No, none did. So we're good. So we're going to go in and end this off. If you've not hit the like button yet or the subscribe button yet, please go in and do so. We're at 785, trying to get to that main goal of 800. 15 away. That's it. 15 subscribers away from that main goal of 800. Let's go in and get there. I'll be back tomorrow or tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for your Tuesday evening forecast update. Also tomorrow morning for your Wednesday morning forecast update. Hit those two buttons before we leave if you are new.